Horror slasher movies with substance. It's funny how movies that once kept us shivering under our beds as kids end up losing a bit of that scare factor once we've experienced more of real life. I mean, the dark somehow seems less terrifying when you've dealt with the bureaucratic nightmare of filing for taxes or managing health insurance, right? The thing is, most 90s slashers like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer are kind of like candy. Great in the moment, but not something that necessarily holds up over time for everyone. They leaned into the popular formulas of the time: masked killers, teenagers making questionable life choices, and a blend of terror with just a pinch of cheeky humor. But let's be real, some of the acting and dialogue feels like it's from a different era. Because it is. Now, if you're hunting for more substance in your knife-wielding psychological dramas, there are definitely slasher flicks that have raised the bar. Take Psycho, 1960, for example. It's the granddaddy of the genre with classic Hitchcock suspense and top-tier acting. It might carry that vintage aesthetic, but Norman Bates is timeless in the worst or best way possible. Then you've got Halloween, 1978, which may not match today's standards of dialogue nuance, but there's something perennially compelling about the silent menace of Michael Myers, combined with Jamie Lee Curtis giving us final girl realness. Fast forward to the modern era, and you'll stumble across a gem like Get Out, 2017, where Jordan Peele takes the horror slasher genre and infuses it with biting social commentary and genuinely impressive performances. It's not a slasher in the traditional sense, but it's got the tension and some of the classic elements, all while making you think. If we want to talk about slashers that truly feel like they've matured with time, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, still holds its own. Sure, it's a slasher, but it's also this trippy, surreal experience that delves into the helplessness of being hunted in your dreams. It walks that neat line between fantasy and horror. Plus, watching a young Johnny Depp get sucked into a bed is quite the cinematic treat. C7N, 1995, is another one I'd throw into the ring. Although you could argue it's more of a crime thriller, the meticulousness of the killer and the dark, brooding atmosphere give it that slasher edge. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman serve up performances that stick with you. And let's not even get started on that ending. Living in Portland, Oregon, you sort of develop an appreciation for the gloomier, more thought-provoking narratives, given all the rainy days perfect for movie marathons. And you know, although the rain here might not wash away sins like in C7N, it sure sets the mood to get wrapped up in a more compelling storyline. So yeah, these movies have the fear factor, but they're also packed with richer stories and better acting. Proof that you can age and still enjoy a good slice of slasher cinema, pun totally intended.